So here we are at the beginning of class. Our students have filed into our classroom here at Elmwood Elementary School, and they have all found their place. Every day I label each seat with a tag with their name on it, and that's where they know to sit for the day. And they also see that on the board, very nice, is a do now activity where they're to sit at their desks, open their books, and take out their timelines that they've been keeping for the entirety of the class. Let me introduce you to our students. Here we have Stitch. Stitch is a very good student. He is one of our mainstream students. He doesn't have any disabilities or disadvantages. And he is sitting here, and he is Max's buddy. Max has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. He has trouble moving around. But Stitch is his buddy for the week, so he helps him out. He turns his pages for him. And anything they do together. So they're sitting here together, so that is more beneficial for Max. Here we have Andy. Andy is also one of our mainstream students. However, he does have the tendency to really enjoy singing, and that can be a little disruptive in class. So what I like to tell him, like I'm going to tell him right now, Max, is that if he behaves well during the class, then I will allow him to sing for us before we leave. And finally, here we have Indy. Indy is a very special student. He has Tourette syndrome, but for the most part he's well behaved, and I guess we'll see how that pans out today. All right? Okay, let's get to work. Okay, class, the first thing I want to do today is I want someone to volunteer to tell me what the 5 most recent things we've gone over on our timeline are. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. That's exactly right. What I want you guys to do now is each of you in your group is going to go over one of those things and summarize it for the rest of the class to the best of your abilities. So you guys over here, I want you to be number 2, okay? Okay, so let's get to work a few minutes while I take attendance, and then we'll get going. Okay, great class. Today we're going to learn about the Boston Tea Party, and we're going to look at the events that led up to the Boston Tea Party and what it meant for us in our American history. So what we're going to do is I want you all to turn to page 93. Stitch would come over and we're going to go ahead and preview all the sections, and we're going to find the main points of each chapter, and you're going to take out your outline notebook and you're going to write down on each page one of the big major themes of the chapter, and we're going to find 5 of those, okay? So let's open up our books, and as we preview through the pages, what's the first thing you see here? Yes. The Sugar Act. That's correct, the Sugar Act. So why don't we all put on our first page the Sugar Act. Okay, moving on. Stitch, do you want to try and figure out what the second topic would be? The Stamp Act. The Stamp Act, very good. Great. Alright, so let's keep moving on. Indy, why don't you tell us what the third act would be? Indy? Alright, Indy, tell you what, I am going to have you return a book for me to the library, and why don't you go fetch yourself a pail of water while you're there, okay? Okay, let's go do that. Sometimes Indy has a little hard time focusing on class, so what I'll do is I'll give him a task such as returning a book to the library and have him go fetch a little drink of water at the fountain. That way when he comes back he can be ready to learn again. Okay. Max, how about you? Would you like to help out and give us what the third topic is? The Declaratory Act. Very good. The Declaratory Act. Okay, we've got 2 more to look at. Who would like to try number 4? Okay, I can do one. Why don't we make our 4th topic the Townsend duties? Okay? You need to know how it's spelled. Townsend. And you can also look right there in your book to see how it's spelled. Do you see? Right there. Okay. And who wants to do the last one? Ooh, you're all excited about this one, I can tell. Stitch, why don't you tell us what the last one is? The Boston Massacre. Yes, that is correct, the Boston Massacre. Very good, class. Okay, great, class. Now that we've gone over what the major themes of the chapter are going to be, we're going to work again in our groups, and I'm going to assign one of these sections to each group, and together I want you to find out what the subtopics within your topics are. So on your outline, I want you to make another separate space for each chapter, and I want you to outline the 4 or 5 main themes within your topic. Okay? You don't have to write all about it. We're going to go over that for homework later, but I want you to point out what the major discussions for each section are. Okay? And Max, what I'd like you to do is I want you to make sure you take especially good notes so that when Indy returns, he can be caught up with the group, okay? Okay, great. So why don't you start working in your groups and we'll get started. Oh, and Indy's back. Okay, Indy has returned. I'll just sit in your seat, good. And Max here is going to help you get caught up with your work, okay? So why don't you talk with Max, okay? Okay. At this point, me and my assistant will go around the class and make sure the students are working well and on task. We'll especially take great care for our ESL students because they sometimes find the readings to be very overwhelming, which is understandable. So we do a few things to accommodate for them. First of all, I provide an audio tape or CD with me speaking the chapter so that they can hear pronunciation and tone and try to pick up vocabulary that way. I also have them keep a separate journal with vocabulary, so as they go through and find words they don't know, they'll write the new words and what they mean so that they can keep a running vocabulary list of new terms. And finally, I provide them with chapter summaries because sometimes they won't always grasp all the material because it is so dense and so lengthy. So I'll make sure that they have resources to documentation which gets the point across of all the chapters without necessarily inundating them with all the details. Okay, great class, you've done great work today. And again, for your homework, what I'd like you to do is to take your outlines for your section and fill in the details that I told you to save space for. So you want to go back, read the chapter, and pay specific attention to your section and fill in the details. And then tomorrow in class, we'll get together as a class and go over what you've learned. I'd also like you to read the first part of Chapter 6 for Johnny Tremaine and have that in for the day after tomorrow. So I want to give you a head start on that, okay? And Max, I told you if you behaved well in class today that you'd get to sing for us, and you were very good today, especially helping Indy catch up with his work when he had to leave the class. So I'd like to give you a moment to sing for us. That's it? All right, class is dismissed.